morning.
Good morning.
Listening to a little Badlands from Queen Val. Gotta work on the fade. Having to use my computer because my phone is kind of screwed up. It's full, so even Facebook gets botched up. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well too, thank you. Look how my sweatshirt matches my Katie Miller carrot mug.
That is spectacular matching and planning there.
It's pretty fun. Sandy Thiel, I hope you're taking note. This is a prop costume win. We want to wish happy birthday to my cousin Brenna because she's a great follower of Daily Dose and it's her birthday. But I have to show you what she did for me while I was gone on my 2-week retreat. She watched the lessons at sunrises that I did and was so inspired by them. Look at this. She painted these and then sent them to me. So here's one. And if you watched these, you know exactly where that was. And here's the other one. This is actually my favorite one. That's out in the soybean field. Isn't that beautiful? I love those. So Bren, happy birthday.
Yes, happy
Thanks
birthday.
so much for all your support and for the beautiful paintings. Sandy just said, thanks for the postcard. You're welcome, Sandy. I'm glad to know they got delivered. I sent Dr. Mary a postcard once from our house.
Never got it.
And it never came back. And it was for our anniversary. It was very disappointing. So I'm glad that at least one of them was received. They went out Monday. You should be getting them in the mail today, hopefully everybody else.
You did send me one for my birthday to my mother's house in England, and that one got there for my birthday.
On your birthday. It was amazing. That was one of my more magical moments. Okay, so today is Inspired Wednesday based on something we've read, seen, watched, heard, listened to, whatever, that we want to talk about. And I found this article, which I've attached, called, like, the one thing all sober people need to do. And one of the reasons that I'm fascinated to talk about this is because I don't know that I agree with it, but I'm not the addict. So, Dr. Mary, what do you want to talk about?
Interesting. It was basically it was hints to stay sober, especially in your first year, and find a group of people, find your rock. What keeps you?
That social safety net.
Social safety net. Now, when I was in rehab, we were taught if you're going to go out, you don't need a plan A or a plan B, and not to quote Mike Tyson freely, but he always used to say everyone needs a plan B because plan A goes to hell when you get punched in the face, which is true. But we said, you need a plan C, a D, and an E. So it was code words and everything about you go to a social gathering. Is it too much? Do you need to get out? I thought about them. We actually set some up. Never used them.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I was lucky enough not to need them. In fact, I was thinking about the first time you and I went out when it was suggested to me that I could go home and come back during the day.
You mean the night that you got home?
Yeah. No, that's a different one. But you and I went to a Fargo Moorhead Symphony after party.
Okay.
Downtown. And I had some soup and a lemonade, and everyone was like, hey, man, how's it going? And then when we left, there was, this was in March, there was a drunk dude shirtless who climbed up a tree and hung out of it in downtown Fargo. So I went to, I think this was a Saturday night or something. So I went on Monday and I told my counsellor this. And she goes, well, what did you think about that? I said, well, I'm actually happy I'm actually coming to counselling for my addiction and I'm not out of a tree. And she went, Maz, that's the way forward. So having a counsellor base too helped at the start. A sponsor, someone you know and trust. I mean, I had obviously a very supportive wife to get through this too, and still do actually. A group. One of the other things in this article was a group of non-drinking friends. I didn't need that because absolutely everyone that we were friends with were just incredibly supportive. Some of them don't drink with me still, just in solidarity, and they say, "Well, it's great because I actually can function the next day if we come round your house for dinner." And it's all been just absolutely fantastic. Some other friends of ours actually keep a stock of non-alcoholic beverages in the fridge just for me, which is just brilliant.
Refrigerator mother.
Sorry, Bonnie. Refrigerator.
Um,
And yeah, find hobbies and things to do. It's the art. It was art therapy. Um, that was just incredibly interesting and helpful to actually do something with your hands, and then they'd actually, they'd throw in a curveball like you were doing something, and they'd ask you all these questions. So the counsellors were doing, the art thing makes you relax, which is perfectly true. It engages parts of your brain, which is what art is supposed to do, and you start to open up while you're doing something. So having a hobby is actually incredibly useful too. It could be reading, could be going for a walk, could be cycling, doing, going to the gym,
puzzles, whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we started a jigsaw. We went too big. We bought it for our first jigsaw. We got 1,000-piece jigsaw.
It's a huge mistake.
Of a beach sunset. Now,
a lot of blue,
a lot of blue in a beach sunset 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and it took Dana and I 3 days to find all the edges.
Frame. Yeah. Nope, not for us.
So yeah, we also found out that jigsaw puzzles was not our thing.
Yeah. What I disagree with a little bit from the article is that you have to anything. I think there is no have to for an individual person struggling with something. Some people can be around alcohol, some people can't. Maz happens to be able to be around alcohol. If he had said to me, I need you to never drink again, I could have done that. I would have resented it. A, because I don't like to be bossed, and B, because I don't have a problem. So why do I have to give it up? But I would have done that for him. But he didn't ask me to because he didn't need me to. This article kind of implies that there's something wrong with somebody who won't.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I didn't like that.
I didn't agree with that bit either. She was talking about her wife giving up alcohol. I didn't agree with. But she does state in the article that these are going to be different for everyone. So
yeah, it just felt a little too
demanding.
A little bit too prescribed. I don't think there is a prescription. I just remember sitting with you at one of the visiting hours, and one of your roommates was sitting at the same table with us talking to his mother, and I think he had been through rehab before. He was a lot younger than you are. And he told her how afraid he was to go home because his girlfriend was still using drugs and alcohol. Well, okay, that's fair. First of all, if you'd come home and I had said to you, oh, come on, just have a glass of wine with me, that's one thing. I'm not trying to excuse my drinking in front of Maz.
No, but there is actually, I hear it a lot in AA where people say they've gone out and people have forced alcohol on them. Which I think is
a bad group of friends.
That's a terrible group. So this was written for people who have a group of friends like that. Of course, this isn't the case for me, but unfortunately those groups of friends do actually exist.
Sure. I mean, we're drawn to people who are doing things that are like what we're interested in, and if what you're interested in is drugs and alcohol or some derivation of that, you're often going to find those people. You just happened to be a very solitary drinker.
Yeah.
So I think inspired isn't exactly the right word for this, but I think it's a really interesting conversation, and I think it goes back.
And it does inspire a conversation, so it's inspiring.
That's true. I think it goes back to this larger conversation of what do you struggle with, and how do you find that person? They say all the time how important it is to have a accountability friend for working out. That you're much more likely to get up in the morning and go do whatever activity you do if you have someone who is depending on you, who's also gotten up, who's waiting for you at the end of the block, whatever it is. I mean, everybody who watches these knows that I would probably not still be going to spin were it not for your dogged commitment to spin. But it's good for me. despite how complainy I can be about it, it's good for me. And I only go because I have an accountability partner. That's just true of many things in life. Do you want to make some kind of change? Do you want to start meditating? Do you want to start um, cooking more healthfully and more often at home? Do you want to commit to reading, you know, bestsellers or more self-help books or whatever your desire is? Find somebody who you can do it with, who will check in with you, who will expect you to be as engaged as they are. Make sure they're as engaged as you need them to be so that it actually happens. But I think that's just a really good lesson for life. And it kind of goes back to, remember that book, I don't know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten? I think one of those lessons was find a partner. Make sure you've got a buddy who's walking you across the street or who's going into the bathroom with you or whatever it is.
That still stands true, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does. We do better with somebody who's invested in us. So, if you're watching this today and you're the spouse of an addict and you feel like you need a buddy, I'm here for you. Absolutely have a conversation with you. I will walk with you. I will social distance sit down with you. I'll have a Zoom meeting with you. I will absolutely do that. And Mary,
if you need to get some advice from alcoholic enjoying sobriety, you can do the same thing to me.
Reach out to us. We will hold your stories privately. We will be as supportive as we can be, and we will help you figure out what your next step could be, because we can do that. So that's an addict thing. But again, I think it pertains to everything you want to change in your life. You want to go see more art when we can finally go back and see more art? Guess what? I can help you with that too. I'm not going to probably go with you because I'm already going to everything.
Yes.
But I will. I'll find you an art buddy. Find a person who's invested in you to help push you to being successful in whatever it is you're trying to work on. Because I think what's true is when you know someone is depending on you, it lifts you up too.
It does.
You know, when you became a sponsor, it changed how you viewed your role.
Yeah.
Yeah. So find that person, find that little community, take the first step towards whatever it is you're working towards, and let us know how it's going. And I think that's good for today. Tomorrow is our first guest.
Oh, yes.
We're very excited.
Our guest might not be, but
he's a little less excited than we are, but you'll find out why tomorrow. I hope you have a great day.
Yes, have a fantastic day. Enjoy the sun. It's going to be a nice warm day.
It's going to be a beautiful day in Fargo-Moorhead and in the Midwest, I think kind of across the board. So if you're on the West Coast watching this, I hope the air is continuing to clear for you and you're continuing to be safe. And to everybody else, just have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.